Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Zeb is in traffic and will be here as soon as he can. But welcome, appreciate everybody being here today. First item is approval of the agenda. Are there any changes, additions to the agenda? If not, and if there is no objection, the agenda is approved as presented. Previous minutes you were sent, I think last week. Are there any changes to the minutes? Hearing none, if there are no objections, we'll accept those as presented. Before we get to the executive director's report, just a couple of things that I'd like to thank Allison, you and staff for last night for the legislative delegation, the reception, and just hosting the whole event. It was great. It was a good crowd of legislators, and I think it just couldn't have gone better. So really good. Appreciate all you guys doing, particularly and not just last night, for the last few months of hosting all these events out here. It's been awesome and a great reflection on Patriots Point. One other thing, just real quick, that I'd like to say is that given things the way they are around the country these days, I've been thinking a good bit about like security on the ship and that kind of stuff. And I have asked, we had security committee a few years ago to take a look at things, and I tend to think it would be a good idea to do that. May not need a standing committee on that, but I think we ought to revisit that on a regular basis. I asked Zeb to chair it again. He chaired it last time, for those of you who were on the board then, and I've asked James to work with them, and they're going to get started and taking a look at things and see if there are other things we need to be doing now. So just let you know that.
And I may be stating the obvious, but if y'all would touch base with our police who have a standing security format for here, it would be great.
Yeah, we absolutely.
Not that they can be over here doing everything you're talking about, but just to coordinate.
Obviously, we would, for sure we'd do that. We've talked about that. So, thank you, Mayor. We might be calling on you to point us in the right direction with some things. Allison, Executive Director's report.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. You all received the division report, so I won't rehash all of that, but I will just hit some high points of what's happened over the last month. As Chairman Adams mentioned, we have had a lot going on with events this month in July, and I'm just so pleased to report that we have had 3 really, really terrific events. And I want to start off, it's hard to just name particular names for these events because they really are all hands. We had a 4th of July event. We believe by the Town of Mount Pleasant Police Department count, we have 14,000 people here. No incidents. Everybody had a great time. It was a great night. We had a nasty storm pop up and it was still okay. The team just handled it beautifully. So I can't say enough about the staff here and the work they do and the commitment they have to making sure these events are great for everybody there, even on a hot and long 4th of July day. But I want to specifically mention Mike Hastings, our operations director. He is the mastermind of a lot of these that require a lot of load in and a lot of personnel, and Mike just does an amazing job with that. Chris Half is always just right there, teamwork, putting all that together and making that work. Keith Grabowski did a great job with the music again this year and coordinating things. Our events team, Patty Amos and Austin Poisson did a great job just coordinating all the events. Again, the ops team with the loadout, but the whole staff, it's all hands for 4th of July, especially. We've got, traffic management, people in the parking lot, bag search, the whole 9 yards. And it was just a great day. The crowd had a wonderful time. Same thing with the Southern Legislative Conference. had a wonderful turnout for that. I think we had about 1,100 people. It was a beautiful night, fireworks, just some of you all came for that. It's a great event, and we were so pleased to be able to host them and show off the ship. And I have to say that the Fighting Lady just sits up a little higher in the water when we've got a crowd like that on board.
It's
So
about the biggest crowd I've ever experienced here. Maybe when we did the flight deck 4th of July stuff, maybe. But I think it was more than they thought they were going to have.
It's really the amount of moving parts to 4th of July is incredible. And we had food vendors and bands, and had a nice thunder and lightning storm at 5 o'clock to just get that in the mix. But it just was really smooth as silk, and the team's done it for a lot of years. And this will be the last year that we'll have the landside piece. So we're already in planning for next year and excited about what the changes that we'll make. But just hats off to just all the team that did such a terrific job with that. As the chairman mentioned, last night we had the legislative delegation here. Susan, thank you so much for making that happen, getting that put together. You and Representative Manning, Ms. Marlowe and Representative Manning put their heads together and put that together. And we were so honored to have the legislative delegation here, and really just so proud to have the opportunity to show off the ship and to talk about all that we're doing. So really, really glad to have those opportunities. So that sort of wraps up a big run of large events. Now we're rolling into looking at the upcoming year. So there will be an update. I'll have a calendar to you all, so that you'll have a calendar of events coming up, but just so you know that it's out there. We've got a family weekend coming up for overnight, Operation Overnight. You can bring your families, let your friends know. September 15th, it's a family weekend. That's something to really look forward to. Everyone should sleep on the ship at least once. It's really, really fun opportunity. Our volunteer cruise will be coming up in November. We'll be planning for our big Veterans Day with Mary White and the Patriot Art Foundation. It's coming up, and then next year is the 80th anniversary of the Laffey. So we have got a lot of very exciting programs and projects. Meredith has really been working on that, so there will be a lot more to come on all of that, but just sort of a heads up that's right around the corner. Our team now will shift in. One of our priorities for this year, this fiscal year, was travel. We've got a lot of new folks. We've got a lot of us, myself included, that have not seen the other aircraft carriers. We all have a lot of the same, work the same way, and have the same challenges and opportunities. So it is a priority, as you all know from the budget, to get into travel. So we are starting with our travel on Friday. We go to the South Carolina State Museum. We've got a team of 13 traveling to Columbia for the day to see South Carolina State Museum, do one-on-one meetings with their counterparts at the state. We're also going to see the Confederate Relic Room. The new Vietnam exhibition that's in that space is really phenomenal. For anybody that's not seen that yet, it's pretty great. In September, we will be going to the Historic Naval Ships Association conference, and that's in Albany, New York. Last year it was in Honolulu, but this year's it's in Albany, and we're very excited about getting to visit with our counterparts there. In October, we are trying to work out a trip to New Orleans, a World War II museum, to see the work they're doing there. In November, we will go to the Southeastern Museum Conference in Louisville, Kentucky. And in January, we will visit the Lexington in Texas. In February will be the Governor's Conference on Travel and Tourism. In March, April, sort of in that time frame, we'll go to California and see the Midway and the Hornet in the same trip. Everyone's invited. The board's all invited on all these field trips. I just think we have so much to learn from our counterparts, and we have so much to share about what we do really well, which is a lot of things. So that's we're very excited about all of that coming up. We have transitioned to our shared services HR team on July 1st. That is going very, very smoothly. Nick has worked really closely with them. It's intense. It's taking a lot of time to do the handoff and the turnover, but it's really working. It's off to a really good start. Staff is reaching out. We had an all-hands meeting where the HR team came and gave a presentation, and that was very well received. So I think it's so far very, very smooth. We're very excited about that transition. I think that's really going to work well for our team, and they have a nice list of things that we want them working on. Everyone saw the new visitor lot is really coming along after Labor Day. The visitor parking will shift into the new lot after Labor Day. The new lot looks great. We've had great meetings with the Bennett Hospitality team, with the Palmetto Parking, just talking about navigating all of that and the changes that we're going to make. Just a really good team working really well together. So we're anticipating a smooth transition, and it's nice that it's happening at a time where it's not quite as busy. So any growing pains we have from that, we'll be able to work out before we get really busy again. And then one last note, we took a team of, I believe there were about 10 of us that went to the Explore Charleston luncheon, and on talking about travel and tourism, and that was really a great opportunity to be in that space with the travel and tourism industry professionals. There's probably 500 people there. It was really just a great event. Our team goes every year, but we had a large team go this year. I think we all really enjoyed the opportunity to be there. So that's sort of the top of wave summary.
Great. Any questions of Allison?
I have a question.
Great.
On the parking, will
Yes.
there be transportation from there to the pier head, or will?
Yes, we are getting a new 8-person golf cart in addition to the ones that we have.
Great. What's the change in the distance? Like, I'm just wondering how much farther away are you? Because I guess if you end up getting parked in the back of the existing lot, you're still going to be about the same distance.
That's exactly
Yeah,
right. The
okay.
distance from the back parking lot to the pier is equidistant from the back of the new lot.
That's what I was figuring. Okay. Thank you.
How many working golf carts are there?
I'm going to have to defer to Mr. Hastings on that one.
We have 6 golf carts, but they're not all dedicated so public safety has golf carts. We have golf carts for our electricians who have to run landside. We have golf carts for our custodians who also have to haul trash back and forth as well. But there are 6 operational golf carts, and then we also have a handful of Gator vehicles that are 4-wheel drive, obviously not for guests to ride on.
So how many how many are dedicated to moving
So we have the
guests?
12-passenger shuttle, which I'm not including as a golf cart necessarily. So it's
Okay.
the air-conditioned 12-passenger shuttle. That's for guests. There's the shuttle that was the golf cart that was donated by the Patriots Point Foundation, which is dedicated daily. And then there's 2 other golf carts that can be used for guest travel or guest transport.
And all 3 are used every day?
Not every day. They have to charge, so they'll rotate them in and out. For instance, on rainy days, they tend to use the 12-passenger shuttle, and also in the wintertime. That's more favorable. In the summertime and cooler weather, the golf cart drivers, the volunteers, like to use the donated golf cart from the foundation.
Anything else? No, thanks, Mike. Are there any comments from the public? Are there any public with us? Not? Hearing none. Chair will entertain a motion to move into executive session for the purpose of discussing contractual, legal, and personnel items.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. We'll take about a 5-minute break and taken in executive session. Ms. Marlowe, do you have a motion?
I do. The board would like to make a motion in appreciation of all that the employees do and dedicate, that going forward, that Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Eve would be days off, and the ship would be closed, or the museum would be closed.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by raising your right hand. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Ms. Johnson.
James, you got,
Yes,
you like that?
I do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I have a motion to extend our option to lease for the Congressional Medal of Honor Museum Foundation from its current date to July 22nd, 2025. A lot of exciting things Susan and I see happening on the board, and I believe this is certainly warranted, and it will allow them to continue their fundraising efforts. So the motion will be to extend their option to July 22nd, 2025.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all approving the motion signify by raising your right hand. All opposed? The ayes have it. It's unanimous. There's a resolution to approve the Second Amendment to a temporary license agreement with Lion Helicopters that would extend their license to August 31st. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Pat, moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say, raise your right hand. All opposed? The ayes have it. It's unanimous. And what else do I have here? There's a resolution for an emergency structural assessment of the forward compartments of the Yorktown to diagnose a repair plan. The contract would be with jail engineering, and it's for $896,000. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Just quickly, what's the source of funding for that? Just our reserve, our
reserve
fund
funds.
balances?
Right.
Okay.
That's correct.
$14 million.
So we don't, right, we don't need a
Right.
grant or an appropriate,
No,
okay.
we've got
We got
the
the cash.
money. And
Thanks.
The town's been.
what the key?
Yeah, that's right.
On this side.
That's right.
Okay, so I haven't got that worked out.
Yeah. Just for the record, no.
All right, is there any other discussion? Any substantive discussion? No. Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution to approve the study, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed? The ayes have it. It's unanimous. Is there anything else to come before the board? Were you voting against it, or would you just?
I'm just still voting.
Okay. You just want to make sure.
Some of that got in my hand. I can't do things at once.
Okay. There's no other business. Our next board meeting is scheduled for August the 18th. And
We'll be back to Friday.
back to the third Friday.
When I was parking, I told myself, I was parking out there and I thought, man, I haven't made my plans for the weekend yet. And I'm like, oh dang, it's just Tuesday. It was total out of body experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I had thought that I would have it easy coming down yesterday in the traffic, but it was 3 hours instead. Anyway, okay, if there's no other business, we'll stand adjourned. Thanks for coming. Glad you,
Yeah, it wasn't 3 hours, but it was about 3 minutes.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I'm looking for the mayor's sea cabin. I need a sea cabin like that.
But they were all stretched up on the side and wedged up against the retaining wall in the middle of the interstate.
yeah. And
It's every time. It is every time I go on the interstate.
I don't know. I don't live like this. I really
You don't leave.
Well, I'm glad
You go another way, back way.
I tell you, that trail's back and
Yes,
forth.
yes, I'm sorry.
It's
I'm
gotten
very
terrible.
confused.
Really, it's gotten terrible.
You have to really go, like I said,
I just needed to
get past Columbia.
It didn't sink into my head. Okay.
Early 80s, right?
Thank you, I'm sorry about that.
Oh, you couldn't see headlights. How are you? How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh yeah, yeah. This girl.
Okay, got it.
Otherwise, I would have turned around. And we can start before 11.
You're on the corner.
It really did.
Gas is really good.
We had to go back right now?
No, the security committee is.
Oh, good. Yeah. Then it'll get really hot by the time you go back.
I hope I can
Should be less than 2 hours.
4:58.
Could be.
And you're low on gas.